Right, we have some sad news to tell you about, some breaking news this morning. A state trooper shot and killed in the line of duty here in Minnesota. It happened in Chisago County, and we have a crew that's been following that story all night long, and we'll have the very latest for you in just a few moments with a live update.
So, June 6, 1997, it was a Friday night, warm night, like a normal summer night. About 9:30, 10 o'clock, there was probably 5 of us working. We had received a call of a guy who was shot by another individual in Fish Lake Township. So back then, 5 of us working at the night, that's our whole, patrol from the early evening to late night. So back then, a lot of the agencies, Isani County, Pine, etc., we monitor everybody's radio traffic back then. We always scan. So it was myself, Ron Butcher, Bruce Peterson, Steve Shodell. We responded up to Fish Lake Township. It was right off Cedar Crest Trail and Crescent Road. Shooting happened on Crescent Road, which is a dirt road, dead end, a few houses on it.
This morning from a gunshot wound to the face. He's just one of 7 Minnesota state troopers ever killed in the line of duty. That happened early this morning as Bowe was helping Chisago County Sheriff's deputies on a shots fired call. Police say the suspect fired at Bowe as the trooper and deputies approached his car. Bowe later died at St. Paul Ramsey Medical Center.
So by the time we got there, we're informed that the shooting, there's an individual in a house, locked himself in. That was the victim that was shot, been shot in the chest. Suspect was still at the house outside in a car. So being we weren't quite sure where the house was, Bruce Peterson, Ron Butcher, myself, and Trooper Bowe, we were basically selected to walk up to the house. We walked 3/4 of a mile, pitch dark, in the dark, no street lights, trying to determine where the house was. So as we finally found the house, the outside of the house was lit up. There was a car parked in the driveway, so we went, okay, this is the place. Trooper Bowe and myself approached from the driver's side. Bruce Peterson and Ron Butcher approached from kind of the rear of the vehicle. So we could see an individual laying in the car with the car door open, feet on the ground. So we began to approach the vehicle because we had to get up to the house because the victim in the house was, going down quick. He had a sucking chest wound and lost a lot of blood. So we needed to get an ambulance in there. So as Bowe and myself walked up to the vehicle on the driver's side, individual sat up and began to fire. I didn't hear any gunshots at the time, but I could see the muzzle flash of a handgun or a firearm come out of the vehicle towards Bowe and I. So everybody returned fire, and during the exchange of gunfire, Bowe turned to me and said that he was shot and went to the ground. Suspect was still firing, so myself and the other 2 deputies ended up firing back on the car with the exchange of gunfire until the person stopped shooting, basically. At that point, we approached the vehicle, make sure the suspect in there was not going to shoot anymore, and then we also tended to Trooper Bowe. At that time, we radioed officer down, etc. Everybody that was staged down on the road, ambulances, etc., come racing in.
Ironically, we're here at the Chisago County Sheriff's Department where Officer Bowe got his start in law enforcement.
A Minnesota State Trooper, Timothy J. Bowe.
It's been an emotional day for the Minnesota State Patrol. One of their own, 36-year-old Corporal Tim Bowe, was killed in the line of duty.
The trooper was airlifted to the St. Paul. Could you finish this one?
Trooper Bowe at the time then was transported to, can't remember if it was Hennepin County or Regents, where he passed away. So when he passed away and after the shooting was June 7th, probably 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
To investigate a report of shots fired. They walked the rest of the way, Officer Bowe among them.
The officers were approaching the car, were approximately 35 to 45 yards away when the suspect opened fire.
The suspect's car makes a frightening statement, a vehicle riddled with bullets.
We will not be able to release the 911 tape at this point until this investigation is complete, but it looks like there were drugs involved, that there was some drug usage going on inside the house.
Still, there is pain across the rank and file. A black patch across the official badge signifies a loss.
Situation like that the whole time, I mean, just the call itself was very, I don't know if you call it scary or nerve-wracking or whatever, because you didn't know where this person was. He didn't, after the shooting, most people want to get away. He never left. So it's either he died by suicide or he was waiting to attack police. Well, when you have somebody shooting at you, it's like surreal. I mean, it's where you have to defend yourself. And like I say, Tim Bowe and I were 5-10 yards from each other, because we're next to each other, and maybe 30 yards away from the vehicle where the person was shooting. So it's scary, intense, because now you have to protect yourself, plus you have a partner who's down. I mean, when he actually turned to me and looked at me and said he shot me and then went to the ground. So you can't tend to him right away, because you still got to take care of the situation of a person still shooting back, trying to kill you. So you have to neutralize that before you can tend to this person. After the initial incident with the funeral and days after, there was a lot of, I guess, nightmares, wake up early, late night, you know, that type of deal where you still have the dreams about the situation. You always, every time you got a call of shots fired or something similar to that, your adrenaline would go up extremely, because that's kind of how the call came out. Even probably 3 or 4 days, maybe 5 days after the shooting, I wasn't working, but I was riding with Carl Schreck, one of our deputies, and I was retired, just to get back in the groove, I guess, of working. And it was like 9 or 10 o'clock, we had a call of possible shots fired kind of in that same area. So your adrenaline really dumps, because that's how the call came out to begin with. So each time a call came out of, you know, shots fired or a person with a gun, even to this day, brings you back to that incident, because it's something you'll never forget. Even 22 years later, when you know, the other day when I pulled all the paperwork out that I saved, it still affects you. You know, you just kind of get, I don't know, kind of choked up, I guess, about it, because it's something that in the career of a law enforcement officer that you don't think of.